I thought I knew my family until they stole my brand new car right from under my nose. What happened next shattered everything I believed about blood ties. Hi, my name is Gloria. I'm 31, and I work as a nurse at a local hospital. My story happened 6 months ago, but I still wake up at night haunted by that betrayal. I think it's time to share the truth about how my own family tried to rob me. Let me start with my family, because you won't grasp the depth of their betrayal without this context. My parents, Robert and live in an old house on the outskirts of town. Dad's retired, spending his days watching TV and complaining about the government. Mom works part-time at a flower shop, more for enjoyment than money. They're not rich, but they're not struggling either. Then there's my older sister, Victoria. Where do I begin? She's 36, married to a plumber who works when he can find jobs. They have 2 kids, 10 and Noah, 8. Sweet boys, I adore them. And Victoria is pregnant with her 3rd child, 7 months along. Here's the thing about Victoria, and they're always broke. They rent a tiny house near my parents, and parents sometimes help with rent. Me, I'm constantly bailing them out. School supplies for the kids, sports fees, utility bills when they're in a pinch. I'm like their personal ATM, honestly. One more detail, my car. I had an old driven for 9 years. The paint was peeling, one door squeaked like the gates of hell, and the AC only worked when it felt like it. When are you getting rid of that junker? Would tease whenever I pulled up. That rust bucket's gonna die on the road one day, Dad would say, shaking his head. Victoria would laugh. I can't believe you still drive that embarrassment. I always gave the same answer. I'm not replacing it until it completely dies. It still got me around, so why spend money? They thought I was stubborn or cheap. Truth is, I was saving. I had a decent chunk of money in my account because I barely spend on myself. Small apartment, no dining out, I bring lunch to work. I was proud of my savings. It was my safety net, my ticket to freedom. A month ago, my car finally gave up. I was driving home from work when the engine started making a hellish grinding noise and then died. Smoke everywhere. I called a tow truck, and they took it to my trusted mechanic. Sorry, Gloria, he said after an hour of inspection. It's serious this time. The engine's toast, and repairs would cost more than the car's worth. So I was carless. For a few days, I took the bus, weighing my options. I could told my family right away, but I decided to surprise them. I spent the weekend at dealerships researching options. I wanted something reliable, something that lasts another decade. Then I found it, a CR-V, not brand new but only a couple of years old. Spacious, safe, a perfect family car. I kept thinking about my nephews. I often pick them up from school when Victoria's working or feeling off. I drive them to practices and games. This car would be perfect for those trips. Plus, with a 3rd kid on the way, we might need to haul everyone together. The dealer gave me a fair price, not cheap, but not a rip-off. I did the math and realized I could buy it outright, no loan, no monthly payments. Paperwork took forever, but by Friday, I was driving home in my new car. It felt incredible. Comfy seats, everything worked like a dream. And it was mine, fully paid for. I decided to surprise my family on Saturday. We have a tradition of dinner at my parents' every weekend. I couldn't wait to see their reactions. Saturday came, and I drove to my parents' place. Victoria and old minivan was already parked on the lawn. I parked my new car a bit down the street and just sat there for a minute, grinning. Grabbed a bottle of wine and headed inside. Everyone was already at the dinner table. Mom, as usual, had made her signature Saturday spread. It smelled divine. We sat down to eat. So, Gloria, Victoria said with a smirk, how's that clunker of yours doing? Actually, I said, barely hiding my grin, my car finally died. Engine gave out last week. Oh, honey, that's awful, Mom sympathized. How are you getting to work? Well, I was beaming now. I bought a new car, it's parked outside. Dead silence. Everyone just stared. Victoria was already jumping up from her chair. I want to see it right now. Everyone outside. We all piled out to check out my CRV. Mom and Dad circled it, inspecting every angle. Gloria, it's gorgeous and so practical, Mom gushed. Dad nodded approvingly. Great choice, kid. This'll last you a lifetime. I opened the doors, showing off the interior. The kids climbed into the back seats while I pointed out all the features. I was glowing with happiness. This was exactly the reaction I'd hoped for. Well, almost from everyone. Victoria had this weird look on her face. Not angry, not happy, just weird. Very nice, she said flatly. Peeked into the trunk. Damn, you could fit a whole family's luggage in here. Real family car. Kind of a waste for a childless woman, though. The comment stung, but I shrugged it off. I have 2 nephews and another on the way. Plus, I like the space. We went back inside to finish dinner. But Victoria was quiet the rest of the meal, picking at her food and throwing me odd glances. We were almost done, when she suddenly slammed her fork down on her plate. You know what, Gloria, she snapped. You should give me that car. I thought she was joking at first, but her face stopped me cold. Victoria, what are you talking about? Think about it, you don't have a family or kids. You make good money, you can buy another car. We actually need that car. Our minivan's falling apart and too small for 3 kids. With a newborn in 2 months, it'll be impossible. Your car's perfect for a family our size. I glanced around the table, was nodding along. My parents were actually considering this insane idea. Victoria, I'm not giving you my car. I just bought it yesterday. But it makes sense, she exploded. You're just being selfish. How am I selfish for wanting to keep the car I bought with my own money? Because you don't need it like we do. If you need a new car, sell the old one and get a loan like normal people do. Tears welled up in Victoria's eyes. I can't believe you'd do this to me. We're family. And I'm always helping you. I'm constantly giving you money for the kids, paying your bills, covering their activities. Don't call me selfish. It's not the same, Mom said quietly. This would really help Victoria, and she has a point. It's more necessary for them. You're single, Dad added. You can afford to buy another one. I felt like I was in an alternate reality. My entire family was saying I should give my brand new car to my sister because she has kids and I don't. I stood up. I can't believe this. I came here to share my excitement about buying something nice for myself, and you want to take it away. Gloria, sit down, Dad ordered. Let's talk this out calmly. There's nothing to talk about. The answer is no. I grabbed my purse and left. Got in my car and drove home, hands shaking on the wheel. At home, I barely had time to change before my phone started ringing. Mom, then Dad, then Victoria. I didn't answer any of them. I knew why they were calling, to pressure me about the car. The calls kept coming all evening. When I didn't pick up, the texts started. Gloria, please reconsider. Victoria really needs that car. Mom. You're hurting your pregnant sister. Think about what's best for the family. Dad. I can't believe you're being so cruel to me when I'm carrying your niece or nephew. Victoria. Text after text, all saying the same thing. I should help my sister. She's pregnant and shouldn't be stressed. I'm selfish and heartless. I read every message, but didn't respond to a single one. This went on for 3 weeks. They were relentless. Every day, ignored calls and new texts about family loyalty and Victoria's pregnancy. They kept saying I should think of the greater good, that Victoria shouldn't be stressed while pregnant, that I was cruel and selfish. They even roped in Aunt. She called on the 3rd week. Gloria, dear, she said in her syrupy voice, I heard about your issues with Victoria. Maybe you should help your sister. She's having such a tough time with the pregnancy and's work. "Aunt, I'm not giving my car to anyone." "But honey, she's family and pregnant. You know how important family is." "The answer is no. I'm not changing my mind." I hung up. Even distant relatives got dragged into this drama. But I knew I was right. I worked hard, saved up, and bought what I needed and wanted. My sister having kids didn't give her the right to take my stuff. I'd supported them financially for years, and this was how they repaid me. After 3 weeks of constant harassment, I was exhausted but stood firm. I wasn't giving up my car, no matter how many calls, texts, or guilt trips they threw at me. I knew I'd made the right choice. Then something wonderful happened. My college friend Rachel called. She was getting married and wanted me to come to her wedding. "Please say you'll come," she begged. Rachel lives in Texas, and I hadn't seen her in almost 3 years. "It's a small ceremony, but I really need you there. We were roommates for 3 years. You have to be at my wedding." I was genuinely thrilled. A few days away from home, away from my family's constant pressure, sounded perfect. Plus, I really wanted to be there for Rachel's big day. I booked a flight for Thursday evening, planning to return Sunday. A short trip, but worth it. I'd leave my car in the parking lot near my apartment, like I always do when traveling. Thursday came. I packed a small bag with a nice dress for the wedding and some casual clothes. I was so looking forward to escaping the chaos. My phone had finally quieted down, though Mom and Victoria still sent occasional guilt trip texts. I parked my car in its usual spot, grabbed my bag, and took a cab to the airport. The flight was smooth, and Rachel met me at the airport. It was so great to see her again. The next few days were exactly what I needed. Rachel's wedding was beautiful, small and heartfelt, just close family and friends. She looked radiant, and her Michael seemed like a genuinely good guy. I caught up with some college friends, and for the first time in weeks, I didn't think about the family drama. Saturday we spent at the beach, then the ceremony, followed by a late-night reception. Sunday was a big group breakfast before everyone started heading home. The flight back was calm. I felt refreshed and ready to handle whatever nonsense my family threw at me. Maybe the time apart had cooled them off and made them see how ridiculous they'd been. I landed Sunday around 11 p.m. and took a cab home. As we pulled into the parking lot, I looked at my usual spot. My car wasn't there. "Could you drive around the lot again?" I asked the driver. "I'm looking for my car." We slowly circled the lot. My CRV was gone. My heart started pounding. Someone stole my car. My brand new car, not even a month old. I paid the driver and went up to my apartment, my mind racing. I needed to call the police immediately, but then I remembered the security cameras. Maybe I should check the footage first to see what happened. I went downstairs and knocked on Mr.'s door. He's the building owner and lives on the first floor. "Gloria, what's wrong?" he asked, seeing my face. "My car, gone from the parking lot. Can we check the camera footage?" "Of course, come in." Mr.'s security system was hooked up to his computer. We scrolled through the footage from the past few days until Saturday morning. Around 10 a.m., what I saw on the screen made my blood run cold. There was my car in the lot, and there was Victoria's husband walking up to it with something in his hand. He did something to the door, not clear what, but he got it open. The alarm should gone off, but it didn't. Then he got in and drove away. I asked Mr. to copy the video to my phone. He helped me transfer it. I just sat there for a minute, trying to process what I'd seen. My own family stole my car. Not just borrowed, stole. They somehow disabled the alarm, picked the lock, and took it while I was out of state. And they did it thinking I wouldn't find out or do anything about it. I wasn't just angry, I was livid. This wasn't about the car anymore. They crossed a line I never thought they'd cross. "You should call the police," Mr. said gently. "Not yet," I replied. I want to see where my car is first. I called a cab and gave them Victoria's address. On the way, I kept replaying the video in my head. How did they get into the car? How did they disable the alarm? When we pulled up to their rental house, I saw the answer immediately. My CRV was parked right in their driveway, bold as brass. They didn't even try to hide it. I stared at my car through the cab window, hands shaking with rage. They actually did it. Stole my car and parked it at their house like it belonged to them. I walked up to the front door and pounded on it. Anger clouded my vision. Opened the door with Victoria behind him. When he saw me, he actually smiled. "Hey, Gloria," he said casually, like nothing was wrong. I pointed at my car in their driveway. "What the hell is my car doing here?" Victoria stepped forward with a smug smile. "Well, if you hadn't been so stubborn, we wouldn't have had to take matters into our own hands." Take matters into your own hands. I could barely get the words out. "You stole my car." "We didn't steal anything," said. "We just took what you should given us in the first place." "How did you even get into it?" I demanded. Victoria smirked. "Remember the spare keys to your apartment you gave Mom and Dad years ago? For emergencies? Well, this was an emergency. We went to your place while you were gone and took the car keys." It hit me like a punch to the gut. They didn't just steal my car. They broke into my apartment to do it. "Give me my keys back right now," I said, "and get away from my car." Victoria laughed. "Not happening, it's our car now. You can buy another one." "This is theft," I said. "I'm calling the police." "Go ahead," Victoria said. "We'll tell them you promised us the car and then backed out. Hooray, they gonna believe. A single woman or a pregnant mom with 2 kids. She slammed the door in my face. I stood there, staring at the closed door, shaking with rage and disbelief. They thought they could just steal from me and get away with it. They thought I'd be too scared of a family scandal to do anything. They were wrong. I called another cab and went straight to the police station. I was done playing nice with my family. They wanted to treat me like a criminal. Fine. Let's see how they like dealing with actual criminals. At the station, I explained everything to the desk officer. They brought me to a detective who heard the whole story. "So, your brother-in-law took your car without permission," Detective clarified. "Yes, I have video proof of him stealing it from my parking lot." I showed him the footage on my phone. "And where's the car now?" "Parked at their house. I just came from there. They refused to give it back." He nodded. "We'll need you to file a theft report. Do you have proof of ownership?" I pulled out the registration and insurance papers. "I bought it 4 weeks ago. It's in my name." "Good. We'll send officers to retrieve the car and bring your brother-in-law in for questioning." I filled out the paperwork and gave them Victoria's address. The detective said he'd call when they recovered the car and questioned. The next day, detective called. "We've recovered your car. Your brother-in-law been arrested on charges of auto theft. We also brought your sister in for questioning since she admitted to being involved. Can you come pick up the car?" "Yes, but there's one thing you should know. My family's there and they want to talk to you." When I walked into the station, it was chaos. Victoria was sitting in a chair, sobbing loudly. My parents were packing, red with anger. When they saw me, they rushed over. "Gloria," Mom grabbed my arm. "You need to drop the charges right now. How could you do this to your own family?" "How dare you?" Dad shouted. Victoria looked at me, mascara streaking her face. "You're a monster. You're trying to destroy my family." "I'm just taking back my stolen car," I said calmly. "You're going to put him in jail," Victoria shrieked. "The father of my kids could go to prison." "He's in jail because he stole my car," I replied. Mom started crying too. "Please, Gloria, think of the kids. Think of Victoria's pregnancy. You can't send to jail over a car." "It's not just about the car, Mom. It's about my property that he stole." But we're family, Dad yelled. Family doesn't put family in jail. Family doesn't steal from family, I shot back. Detective approached. Miss Gloria, we need to know if you want to press charges. I looked at my family. Victoria was still sobbing. My parents were staring at me like I was some kind of criminal. None of them seemed to grasp that what did was actually illegal. You know what, I said. I'll drop the charges, but on one condition. You all leave me alone. I don't want anything to do with you ever again. Gloria, don't be so dramatic, Mom said. I'm not being dramatic. I'm done. You stole from me, broke into my apartment, then acted like I was the bad guy for being upset. I'm cutting you all out of my life. You can't mean that, Dad said. I'm dead serious. I'll drop the charges against, but in return, you never contact me again. No calls, no texts, no showing up at my apartment. We're done. I turned to Detective. I'm dropping the charges. He nodded and went to process the paperwork. Was released a few hours later, though they held him a couple extra days for resisting arrest. I picked up my car and drove home. That same night, I blocked all their phone numbers. Blocked them on Facebook, Instagram, every social media platform I could think of. I wanted them completely out of my life. The next few months were surprisingly peaceful. No constant calls begging for money. No guilt trips about not helping enough. No drama. I could just live my life without worrying about what crisis Victoria was having that week. About 6 months later, Aunt called from an unblocked number. Gloria, dear, I have news about Victoria. She had the baby, a girl. Your parents asked me to let you know you have a new niece. Okay, I said flatly. Don't you want to know her name, or see pictures? No, Aunt. Gloria, don't you think this has gone too far? It's been 6 months. Maybe it's time to forgive and forget. Forgive and forget. I couldn't believe my ears. They stole my car, broke into my apartment, treated me like garbage, then expected me to just take it. But they're your family. Not anymore. They stopped being my family the day they decided Victoria's wants were more important than my rights. You're really willing to lose your whole family over a car. I didn't lose them. They lost me when they chose theft over respecting my decision. What about the kids? And Noah missed their aunt. And now there's a new baby who'll never know you. That stung a little. I do miss my nephews, but I can't have a relationship with them without dealing with their parents. That's not my choice. That's Victoria and's choice. They decided theft was more important than family. What if something happens to your parents? They're getting old, Gloria. Then I guess I'll find out from the obituaries. I heard Aunt start to cry. How can you be so cold? I'm not cold. I'm just done being a doormat. I gave them money for years, helped them, was there when they needed me. And when I finally bought something for myself, they tried to take it. When I said no, they stole it. But you got the car back. It's not about the car. It's about the fact that they thought so little of me that they believed they could take whatever they wanted, and I'd be too weak to do anything about it. Was silent for a moment. So this is really it. You'll never talk to them again. That's up to them. They know where I live, where I work. If they want to apologize for what they did and try to make things right, they can try. But I'm not reaching out first. After that call with Aunt, I sat in my apartment, reflecting on everything that happened. Do I sometimes feel bad about not having a relationship with my family? Yes. Do I miss my nephews? Of course. But I don't regret standing up for myself. For the first time in my adult life, I'm not constantly worried about money because I'm not spending it on other people. I'm not stressed about family drama because there's no family left to cause it. I learned something important about myself through all this. I'm stronger than I thought. I realized I don't have to tolerate bad treatment just because we share DNA. My family thought they could walk all over me because I was always the one who helped, who gave money, who bylaid them out of problems. They thought I'd rather give up my car than cause a fuss. They were wrong about me. And now they have to live with the consequences of their choices, just like I have to live with the consequences of mine.